Welcome to the Cultivating Abundant Life podcast. My name is Kate Palmer, and I am passionate about helping people cultivate an abundant life physically, mentally, and emotionally. I'm really excited today. I get to share with you what 5 oils I would take if I was on a deserted island. And also I'm going to explain what essential oils are in a little bit more detail than I did last week. It was really hard to narrow it down to 5. At first I was like, I'll just do 4. And then I could not make up my mind. And so I was like, okay, I'll do 5. And so next week I'm going to do the next 5 I would be allowed if I was given a chance to get 5 more on this deserted island. So open up your notes app, grab a pad and a pen if you're a note taker like me, and let's get started learning. So first off, I wanted to start this podcast by sharing something I've been really thankful for this past week. This past week, it's been Celllight Magic Massage Oil. This blend has grapefruit, cypress, juniper, cedarwood, and clary sage essential oil, and it's diluted in Young Living's V6 carrier oil blend. The V6 has a rich moisturizing combination of sesame, sweet almond, wheat germ, sunflower, and olive oils. This massage oil works with your skin to improve the natural tone and the skin. This massage oil works with your skin to improve the natural skin barrier and improve the appearance of skin tone and texture, if you get my drift. It does have the word magic in it. This is also fantastic for your lymphatic system. Your lymph system is a network of vessels and organs that regulates the fluid in your body, and it defends against the Can I even talk about the lymphatic system with this? I actually don't know. Your lymphatic system is a network of vessels and organs that regulates the amount of fluid in your body and defends it against infections. It's a part of both your circulatory and your immune system, but unlike your circulatory system, it doesn't have a pump like your heart to keep things flowing. So it relies on manual movement to keep your lymph flowing through your body. Think of your circulatory system as like a border collie. It's like always ready to go. It's always got energy, never stop. And then think of your lymphatic system as like an English bulldog, and you go to take it on a walk and it just sits there. Our neighbors have 2 English bulldogs, and it's really funny them trying to get them on a walk because they don't want to move. That's your lymphatic system. It just wants to sit there. So you've got to help it move along a little bit. Okay, so things that can help move it. So things that can help move it along are things like jumping jacks or running, jumping on a trampoline, getting a massage, using a fascia blaster. Ooh, we're going to do a podcast on that too. If you don't know what a fascia blaster is, it's awesome. We'll talk about that later. Dry skin brushing is another great one. It's really easy to look up how to do dry skin brushing. All of these things really help move your lymph. And right now I'm doing a sort of Love Your Lymph challenge for the next 14 days where we're incorporating dry skin brushing and using those exercises I mentioned. I'm doing jumping jacks every morning. It's really impressive too, by the way. When you do jumping jacks in the morning, you wake up, sometimes your face is all puffy from being on the pillow. After those like 40, 50 jumping jacks, it's really great how your face looks so much more awake after the end of that. We're also taking Citrus Fresh Vitality internally. We're using Citrus Fresh and Cypress topically over our lymph areas. We're doing detox baths every few days. And of course, we're using the Celllight Magic Massage Oil. I use it while I'm fascia blasting after a shower. And I have to say, I really love the improvements I see in my skin. I also had a massage last week and I had my masseuse use this oil. Especially if I'm having something all over my body, I want to make sure the ingredients, especially if I'm going to have something all over my body, I want to make sure the ingredients are really clean. And so I had her use mine instead of what she brought. You can even ump its oomph factor by adding a bottle of Ledum to this. So I challenge you to maybe take a week or 2 and really focus on your lymph health and see what you feel and see. All right, let's move on to the 5 oils. So with things like cancer and infertility and other health challenges on the rise, there's really no time like right now to take a look at what's in our products and those chemicals that can be really nasty and harmful that are just approved and fine for us to use every day around our kids and our pets. When you start digging into this, I was kind of shocked, and I still am. I started this journey 15 years ago, and there are still ingredients that really should not be in any products we use around babies and pets and things like that, but they are. If you've listened to my story, you know how I saw how much my body improved after I learned to clean up the toxic burden in my everyday products. So it's time to give your body what it deserves, clean products that support your body rather than harm it. With clinics on every corner, and there's over 6,000 registered hospitals in the United States, we're armed and ready to be sick. But what if we as a society made a shift from sick care to health care? If you've been around the past 2 years or so, you might have witnessed a serious lack and possibly suppression of actual health care. So often we react to issues versus coming at them prepared and ready. Being proactive with our health can be highly beneficial if we're willing to do the work. Trust me, I've learned this in reverse. Might I add too, disease doesn't happen overnight. Body systems don't fail overnight. It happens little by little, day by day, and choice by choice. Everything you do either fights disease or contributes to it. And you can't oil your way out of poor nutrition and a sedentary lifestyle. Oils are not the magic bullet that are going to solve every problem in your life. I compare it to driving a car. If you have a car that you are taking really good care of, and you decide to use the best oil and the highest grade gasoline, you're going to see a difference in that car, right? However, if you're driving an old jalopy and you don't really change the air filter and you take a long time between your oil changes and you don't really bother to check the tire pressure and things like that, change out your fluids, who cares about that? And you put in your premium gas, are you going to see a difference? Probably not. Same goes with essential oils. You got to take care of the car first. Okay, so I ask you, are you ready to put your health first so you can have more days with your loved ones, your babies, your grandbabies, your great-grandbabies? This class is going to show you how simple that is. All right, I'm going to put my mama bear side away now so we can have some fun. I know making healthy life choices is not always easy. It's like burger, salad, burger, right? Or exercise versus sleeping in. This is why I exercise at night, because I always would rather sleep in. Yesterday morning, I did manage to get up and go on a hike, and it was awesome. But it is really hard for me to get up in the morning, so often I choose sleep instead of exercise in the morning. Maybe your house is filled with questionable products, and everywhere you start looking, you feel overwhelmed, and you're not sure even where to start. I've been there too. The first book I got on this issue was called Green Living, and reading through this book was super overwhelming, especially as I was looking at this as a way to deal with my personal body issues. I still have that book though, because when I look through it now, 15 years later, almost everything in there is a part of my daily life, which is really cool to me. Making these changes does not need to be overwhelming, and making them is a lot easier than it was 15 years ago when I started. When I started, there was like 2 options. There's a better option for cleaning than just vinegar, trust me. I would do that and my whole house would stink, and I would try putting some, like Whole Foods essential oils in there to mask it, and then it doesn't work, trust me. I tried. So I was very thankful to find a company that had lots of clean products. You can take small steps that really do add up to big ones. Ditching the chemical-filled, hormone-disrupting cleaner for something that is safe and plant-based is a great and easy way to start. And then maybe you start to decide to switch out those facial products that you were using, and you start looking at those ingredients and go, maybe I shouldn't put that on my face twice a day. And then maybe you go on to your laundry soap and you switch that out. So little steps, one at a time. When something runs out, just replace it with something that you know is clean. That's kind of how we did it. We couldn't get rid of everything in our house all at once. It was little by little over the years until I look around and I don't think there's anything toxic in my house right now. Okay, so what are essential oils and how does Young Living compare? So essential oils are liquids extracted from plants. Think of them as plant concentrates. They're distilled from shrubs, trees, flowers, roots, bushes, rinds, fruit, resins. Oils contain over 100 different natural organic compounds. Essential oils can help the plant stay healthy, and they might do the same for us too. Since there's just a tiny amount of essential oil in a plant, it takes a ton of work and a ton of plant material to produce essential oil. For example, it takes over a pound of peppermint leaves to make a 15 milliliter bottle, this size. It takes 75 lemons to make a bottle of that same size of lemon oil. It takes 60,000 rose petals to make 1 ounce of rose oil. Lavender is very abundant, as you've probably seen fields of lavender, but it still takes 220 pounds of lavender to make 7 pounds of essential oil. Jasmine flowers have to be picked by hand before the sun becomes too hot on the first day they open, making it one of the most expensive oils in the world. It takes 8 million hand-picked blossoms to make 2.2 pounds of oils. So take note, that big bottle of jasmine oil that's on sale for $12 at Walmart, probably not pure, just a guess. Ylang ylang is another night blooming flower, and you probably can still find a YouTube video of Gary Young talking about the harvesting process of ylang ylang. If you're a nerd like me, I find it fascinating. The sandalwood tree has to be 30 years old and 30 feet high before it can be cut down for distillation. But a little goes a long way. Most oils are between $10 and $33 a bottle. I actually just counted it up the other day, and there were 88 oils right now that were $33 or less. A 5 milliliter bottle contains about 90 drops depending on viscosity or how thick it is, and a 15 milliliter bottle contains around 250 drops. Each application is just 1 to 3 drops, sometimes less. Often this is how I use oils. So you have a bottle, finger, tip, oil. It's probably not even a full drop, and that's a full application. So if you, sorry, we'll get to that one in a minute. But if you think about it that way, that means that you get 45 to 90 applications or more from a small little bottle. Not bad, right? Thieves Cleaner. We're not really going to talk too much about that today, but I'm going to harp on that a little bit because if you want to start getting rid of all the toxic stuff in your house, we use Thieves Cleaner for everything. But it is made of plants and costs about $1.50 to make a whole big spray bottle. You can't even get other organic or natural versions of that at Walmart or Target for less than like $4 to $6 a bottle. We were traveling around for a while, and I traveled with a bottle of my Thieves Cleaner and the Thieves Concentrate so I could replace it and use it in our laundry and use it for all sorts of stuff. And one part of our trip, I forgot my Thieves spray bottle. And so I did not want to use what they had at the Airbnb that we were staying at for 2 weeks. And so I went to the store and I was like, it's sticker shock. Like, you want me to pay how much for this? So if you are a frugalista, kind of like me, this is a much better way to go. Another point on my Thieves Cleaner, it's great for pets too. I have literally used it to bathe my dog over there. I used it this past weekend. We did a spring cleaning, so we put it in buckets. We scrubbed down all our outdoor furniture. I put it in our carpet cleaner. Again, he's an old dog. He's having more accidents lately, so we use the carpet cleaner a lot, and Thieves Cleaner again and again and again and again does the job. So we buy the big bottles of Thieves Cleaner, and it is so worth it. So essential oil in a diffuser can soothe a child's tough day at school and provide a calming effect when you've had a stressful day at work. Oils can be used as an alternative to toxic cleaning chemicals, as we've been talking about. The thing is, though, not all essential oils are created equal. If you listened to the last episode, you know my story. I went out and I bought a bunch of oils after hearing all the amazing things they could do. They didn't do any of the amazing things that they said they would do. And so I thought, well, this is a joke. This doesn't work. And I went for a good, almost decade without trying them again. So how do you know which oil to choose? For me, obviously, I had my little gateway oil that was converted my world entirely. But then before I really signed on with anything, I wanted to do my research. If you know me by now, you know I like research. In the StrengthsFinder thing, knowledge is my number one. So I did a lot of research before deciding to go with Young Living. And the reason I did is called the seed to seal process. From the time they have the seeds to the time you have that bottle ready to go, they have control of the entire process. So some of the strict guidelines they abide by are plant material is grown on corporately owned farms or carefully vetted partner farms. And I've been to the ones in Utah and the ones in Idaho. The one in Idaho is celebrating its 30th year, which is pretty awesome. They practice sustainable farming and sourcing practices. They have the purest oil because of that. There's a lot more. Again, I'm going to do a whole podcast on this just because I like to talk about it. They take great care to preserve and protect the natural resources around them. They hand weed their fields and they use 0 pesticides. They have oils that retain all their natural constituents and therapeutic properties, meaning they don't do second, third, fourth, fifth distillations like some other companies may do. If you ever smell essential oil that smells pretty sweet, like the lavender smells really sweet or the peppermint smells sweet, that might be a later distillation because all of those heavier compounds are removed through the subsequent distillations. In fact, at one of my classes, I passed around a bottle of lavender and one girl became adamant, that's not lavender. Lavender is my favorite smell. That is not lavender. And I went, wait a minute. And so I went into my bedroom and I grabbed the old oils that I had had from years ago, right? That I had tried and didn't work. And I brought that out and I said, does this smell like lavender? And she went, yes, that's it. That's lavender. And again, it had that very, very sweet smell. What's interesting is a few years later, I went to replicate this because another person went, whoa, that lavender smells very different than what I'm used to smelling. So I brought the oil out. It was rancid. It completely smelled rancid, which means there was something else in there that was not lavender essential oil. You could open up your bottle of lavender essential oil 100 years from now, and if it hasn't evaporated, it'll smell exactly the same pretty much. Not rancid, that's for sure. So they also use food grade distillers with state-of-the-art design and distillation methods. They use low pressure and low temperature distillation without the use of solvents or synthetic chemicals. They also test for every different type of plant what's the correct temperature and what's the correct time to distill it. It's not everything goes in at this temperature for this long and pops out the other side. Every plant is completely different, and Young Living knows that and treats it that way. They do rigorous testing on each batch by internal labs and by third-party testing. They have oils that are carefully reviewed through every step of production in order to meet or exceed industry safety and purity standards, meaning they are beyond organic. The best part? If the oils do not meet their seed to seal standard, they're rejected. They will not be bottled and sold to you. So you can read more about this on seedtoseal.com or on my website, cultivatingabundantlife.com, on the Essential Oils tab, if you'd like to know all the different types of testing and things they do. So how do you use essential oils? We went over this last week, but I'm going to recap a little bit again. As Gary Young said, there's no wrong way to oil. So let go of the idea that oils are prescriptive. You use 1 drop every 6 hours for 7 days. They're not a prescription. You are not a machine. You're a person. And your body's going to be slightly different in the morning than it is at night. You know that because if I have a burrito, I might look nice in the morning, but at the end of the day, I've got a burrito baby in my belly. So we know our bodies are constantly in flux. So just get some oils in your hands, slather them on, and start using them. You can use oils topically by using them on your wrists, your neck, your back, your feet. Keep them out of your eyes and ears. If you get oils in your eyes, use a carrier oil to get it out. Another thing to keep in mind is that some oils are gentle enough to put directly on your skin without diluting. But if you notice your skin getting a little red or a little hot or cold, in the case of peppermint or wintergreen, just apply a carrier oil on top. Not a big deal, just dilutes it and slower absorption for your skin. So don't overcomplicate it, just keep it simple. Another way to use them is aromatically. Just crack open a bottle and breathe it in. It can be really that simple. Add your oils to a diffuser and enjoy the therapeutic benefits from diffusing. You can put a drop in your palm, rub your hands together, and cup them over your hands and mouth and take a deep inhale that way. No matter how you use them, you're going to get some benefit. You can also use essential oils internally. You can add a drop or more of a Vitality essential oil to an empty capsule. You can make a cup of tea. By the way, that's what I'm drinking right now. I have some Thieves tea. It's vanilla Ribose tea with 1 drop of Thieves, a little bit of stevia, a little bit of cream. And it's delicious. I wish you could smell it too. It's like my own little personal diffuser right here. You can cook and bake with them. Lemon Vitality in, your salad dressing, or oregano Vitality and spaghetti sauce. So one thing to remember is citrus oils can break down petrochemicals in plastic, so it's much safer to use a stainless steel. I've got some grapefruit, it's the Vitality in my stainless steel. And again, my straw is stainless steel as well. And I've got a ceramic mug with my Thieves, which has lemon in it. So, my Thieves Vitality, right? Okay, I want to make sure too, you know the difference between a regular oil and a Vitality oil. The difference is the label. That's it. So, the Vitality oils are labeled for internal and dietary use, so they can be ingested. The solid colors are for aromatic and topical use. However, they are the exact same oil. The only difference is the color of the label. Just helps you know which ones are good to take internally, right? Okay, let's talk what my oils are that I would have on a deserted island. Lavender. Lavender is number 1. I posted a question on Instagram stories about what 5 oils would you take, and my sister-in-law responded, 5 bottles of lavender. So this is one of the most well-known essential oils. This is the Swiss Army knife, as we call it, of essential oils. It can do just about everything, which is awesome. Remember, I am not a doctor, and I cannot diagnose, treat, or prescribe anything to you. An essential oil reference book comes in handy when you're getting to know your oils. You can connect with me afterwards to know what my favorite resources are. So, what's so great about lavender? Well, I'm going to open it up right now. It can promote feelings of calm due to its balancing properties that calm the mind and the body. It fights occasional nervous tension. It may help cleanse and soothe minor skin irritations. It may help reduce the appearance of blemishes and support aging skin. It can be very soothing to the skin after a day in the sun. It's great for all those little cuts and scrapes and bumps that we are sometimes prone to have. One time I was lifting a roast chicken out of the Instant Pot with some tongs, and I was trying to transfer it, and the whole thing fell apart because Instant Pot roast chicken is delicious and moist and falls apart, but I wasn't aware of that. It fell apart, and I reached out to try to save my precious organic free-range chicken from falling on the ground, instinctively not thinking, and caught it in my hand, and then realized it was blazing hot and jerked to try to let go of it, and it rolled down my arm. I'm telling you, I've had 3 natural births, and this feeling was quite intense. So after washing it in cold water, I slathered on lavender, and then after a while I slathered on peppermint, and then I continued using lavender for the next, I don't know, this was in the evening, so I used it all night and the next morning. And the next day I was very surprised. There was no blisters, and the only redness I could see was a small patch right here on my hand. I was amazed, and that made me a believer in lavender. So lavender also comes in a Vitality version. Remember, same oil, white label. It can improve sleep quality for occasional sleeplessness. It supports general wellness and contains cleansing and antioxidant properties. Lavender supports the integumentary system, the nervous system, and cardiovascular system when taken as a dietary supplement. During the spring, I will often take a capsule full of lemon Vitality, lavender Vitality, and peppermint Vitality to really help with those seasonal changes. As far as emotions go, lavender is tied to feelings of abandonment, criticism, and fear of unfoldment. If any of those emotions kind of resonated with you, try swiping on some lavender or diffusing some. We'll go over emotional release in a future podcast, but when in doubt, lavender. All right, so speaking of peppermint, let's talk about that one, especially since I'm getting a little warm in here. I'm just going to do a little, that works, right? So the longer I keep peppermint around, the more uses I find for it. This was one that at the beginning of my oily journey, I liked, and I would use it for the same one or two things. But honestly, the longer I have it, it is in every first aid kit I have. It is in my purse. I keep a lot of peppermint around because I find I use it a lot. So this has a very strong, clean, fresh, minty aroma. And it's not a super sweet smell. I mean, it has a little bit of sweetness, but it's not like peppermint candy. If it smells like peppermint candy, might not be the best essential oil. So this oil can be considered a hot oil when applied topically. Some people are a little sensitive to it. Personally, I love that cooling sensation. So I'll use it on my temples sometimes. Again, watch your eyes. I'll use it on my forehead. I love it on the back of my neck, which is where I'm going to use it right now because that light is a little warm. So just applying to the back of my neck, you can feel that cooling sensation pretty quickly, and it's awesome. So it has such a cooling effect that you can test yourself if you're feeling a little warm. A few months ago, my daughter was a little warm, and so I put some of this on the bottom of her feet, and we were amazed at the numbers on the thermometer. It was a fun little test that we did. If you have a kid who's feeling a little warm, you can put it on their feet. I would suggest putting socks on afterwards because kids just, I don't know, if you tell them not to touch it and rub their eyes, they're going to touch it and rub their eyes. So just put socks on over afterwards and they'll be good. I've even used this on my dog's paws after a walk on a hot summer's day, or you could put a few drops if you have a kiddie pool and your dog likes to stand in that to help cool down. And that can really help their temperature kind of cool off. When I was pregnant with my second and third babies, this oil was a lifesaver. So with my first pregnancy, I was throwing up 5 to 6 times a day. It was misery. I really dreaded the second pregnancy. Second pregnancy, I literally walked around with a bottle of peppermint for the first 3 months. I would drive along with a bottle of peppermint just under my nose. It was awesome. Second pregnancy, I threw up 6 times total, which was great. And the last pregnancy, I only threw up once, but that was kind of my fault because I had a craving for Carl's Jr. and I knew better. Again, that healthy choices thing, it's really hard to do, especially when you're pregnant. So I paid the price for that one. And remember, that's what worked for me. All of our bodies, again, are different. I have a friend who, when she was pregnant, she couldn't stand the smell of peppermint. So we also live near lots of windy mountain roads. So I still keep a bottle of peppermint in both of our cars for, I don't know, any feelings that might come up while we're driving on long, windy roads. So what's so great about Peppermint Vitality? It supports the gastrointestinal system. It enhances healthy gut function. It maintains efficiency of the digestive tract. It may support performance during exercise. It reduces feelings of discomfort after large meals, and it provides a refreshing minty flavor to foods and beverages. That's pretty awesome, right? Peppermint's more than just a flavor you have. You get the real deal. It's not something synthetic that's added like a candy. You can use this in brownies and cakes and cookies and candies and fruit dishes and all sorts of things. You can make peppermint tea. You could put some in your iced tea if you like mint in your iced tea. You could put it in a protein shake, or you could just put some like veggie capsule and take it as a dietary supplement. All of those work. If my head is feeling tight or stuffy, here's a little tip. Take some Peppermint Vitality on your thumb. Remember, just the little tilt method. And hold it on the roof of your mouth. You might look a little silly, you might feel a little silly, but trust me, it works really well. Emotionally, peppermint is tied to feelings of failure, fear of dependence, restriction, and rigidity. And I will say, I'm already feeling nice and cooled down. All right, Thieves is an amazing blend of cinnamon, clove, eucalyptus, lemon, and rosemary. This is a really good one to diffuse in your home, especially in the winter. Especially in the spring. Okay, year round, just diffuse it year round. It's awesome. In the fall especially, I like to add some orange to the diffuser and it makes a really nice fall scent. You can swipe Thieves on the bottom of your feet before heading out the door. You can use it on a splinter and put a Band-Aid over it and see what happens. This is considered a hot oil because it has cinnamon and clove in it. So if you use it anywhere beside the bottom of your feet, I would recommend diluting and just see how your body does again. Did you know the name Thieves was inspired by the legend of 4 15th century French thieves who formulated a more special aromatic combination of clove and rosemary and vinegars and other botanicals they believed provided protection while they were stealing, basically from the people who were dying at the time. The story goes on to say that when the thieves were caught, they were offered a lesser punishment if they would divulge to the king their secret to their immunity, despite being exposed to a highly infectious, deadly disease. Pretty interesting, huh? So, Thieves Vitality can support your immune system. It's cleansing to the digestive system. It contains antioxidant properties, and it provides general wellness support. And again, because it's a vitality oil, it can be added to food or drinks. Again, I've got my Thieves tea right here. It can be taken in a veggie capsule or placed under the tongue, or if you like the taste of Red Hots, on the tongue. I actually did that today. We were driving to church and just wanted a little extra boost before we went into church, so I put a drop of Thieves Vitality right on my tongue. Some people enjoy it added to oatmeal, parfaits, coffee, desserts, honey, Ningxia Red. There's a lot of things you can add Thieves to and really spice it up a little bit. My favorite, again, is my Thieves tea. Thieves is connected to the emotions of feeling different, sneaky, and uncertain. Again, we're going to pack more about this later. Okay, so we've got lavender, peppermint, Thieves. Number 4 for me, Panaway. Oh man, this was my gateway oil. This was the one that changed everything, my life, and I mean that quite literally. It just makes that blank go away, like the name implies. It has a smell of old-fashioned root beer, and it feels like heaven when applied. There used to be an I, the letter I, included in the name Panaway, so see if you can figure out where that I was. I use this one on my temples. I use it on my forehead, on my wrists after boxing, on my calves after running. Get my drift? You can mix it up with some coconut oil to make a great sore muscle rub. You can even throw some eucalyptus and copaiba in there to make a really awesome rub. I will say, while this is one of my desert island, doesn't that drive you crazy? I'm a word junkie, and so it was deserted island and then became desert island somehow. It's not the same. You can have a deserted island that's a desert island, or you can have a desert island that's deserted. But what would you pick? Okay, so if I had this with me on a deserted island, I would not prefer a desert island. I have come to find that there are actually a lot of other oils that help me in this department as well. Peppermint, Cool Azul, Deep Relief, Aroma Seas. Our bodies are all different and they're always changing. So what may be good on my deserted island may not be good for you. So what's so great about Panaway? It's got wintergreen, helichrysum, clove, and peppermint essential oils, and has a nice cooling sensation when it's applied to your skin. This also might be considered a hot oil. So again, if it feels a little strong for you, almost like that Bengay feeling, just put a carrier oil on the top of it and that'll cut through that. It offers a refreshing, stimulating aroma when inhaled. It contains the naturally occurring constituents of methyl salicylate, gamma-curcumine, menthol, and eugenol, and it cools the skin after physical activity. Panaway contains wintergreen, like we talked about, which is high in a constituent called methyl salicylate. Methyl salicylate is used as the active ingredient in many sports creams, but usually it's from a synthetic source. Young Living uses the real deal. And yes, even Panaway is connected to your emotions. This deals with feelings of exhaustion, fear of emotions, and pain. That kind of makes sense, right? Okay, what's my number 5? Is it RC? Is it frankincense? What is it? It was really hard to narrow it down. For me, my number 5 is Valor. This oil holds a special place in my heart. I can't get enough of this smell. And sadly, my amazing story with Valor is not one I can share on here, but I will say it involves my newborn daughter, a very fast birth, and advice from our pediatrician who was an MD as well as an ND. I stocked up on so much Valor that I still have unopened bottles of the original formula with rosewood, which we no longer use because it's endangered. Honestly, the new blend is just as effective. A reason this is one of my deserted island oils is for both the physical and the emotional aspect that it gives. So it's a blend of black spruce, blue tansy, camphor wood, geranium, and frankincense. It encourages a positive attitude and promotes feelings of courage and confidence. It has a great woodsy, grounding aroma. It's great for massages, perfect for wearing as a personal fragrance. And Young Living also has like Valor bar soap, and it's just a great scent. It helps freshen the air when it's diffused and creates an uplifting, positive environment. It may also enhance the appearance of healthy-looking skin when applied topically. Did you know Valor is the first oil in the Great Day Protocol lineup, created by the late Young Living founder Gary Young? You should Google it. It's kind of amazing. My favorite way to use Valor is along the spine. And if I can't get to my whole spine, I'll use it on the back of my neck and as far down my back as I can reach. I also like to use it after kids maybe bonk their heads on something, or for toddlers who seem to continually have a goose egg. Valor is a great one for that. Emotions in Valor? You betcha. So I picked this as my number 5 primarily because it does deal with emotions. I mean, if I'm going to be stranded on a deserted island, I'm definitely going to have a lot of emotions, right? So the emotions associated with this are you ready for this list? Valor is connected to feelings of aggression, defensiveness, fear of conflict, inability to cope, losing a battle, persecuted, resignation, or feeling withdrawn. If any of those pinged your heart a little bit, maybe open up a Valor bottle and just give it a whiff. So that's it. Lavender, Peppermint, Thieves, Panaway, and Valor are my top 5 deserted island oils. Join me next week as I cover the next 5 oils that I would take because I had a really hard time narrowing them down. If you're new to oils and you don't really know how to order or where even to start, you can head to cultivatingabundantlife.com and you can browse through the free classes that are on there, or you can click the Get Started with Young Living button that's in the top right-hand corner. Thank you so much for taking this time with me. I feel honored to get to serve you in this manner, and I hope that you walked away learning something new or with some new nugget that's going to inspire you to go do your own research on this manner. If you're watching or listening, click that subscribe so that you get alerted to all the latest episodes. And if you feel so inclined to shower me with blessings, give me a rating as well. Until next time, be well, and I hope you cultivate an abundant life this week. Bye.